Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everyone doing out there on this fine Tuesday? February 25th, 2025 is the date. There are a whole bunch of 2s and a whole bunch of 25s there in the mix. Latest activity shows a 0.0 for some reason on the USGS map there across the Oklahoma area. Let's go ahead and check out what's going on here across the states. Got a little bit of activity stirring up here across the oil fields, also the New Madrid seismic zone over here across this area of the country. It's a major area of concern in terms of large-scale earthquake activity. 1811, 1812, they had a series of large events there in the mid to upper 7 range. So a couple hundred years have passed since then. That area showing a little bit of earthquake activity directly in the New Madrid seismic zone area. The latest, a 2.0 there in the red circle. Continuing to keep an eye on it because it has been quite active out here in the last few months, but just a friendly reminder that that fault system is very much still alive and will produce big earthquakes. Oklahoma, oil fields getting hit, out in Texas as well. Got a little bit of squeezing going on out here across the North American plate. California is starting to show some signs out here yesterday, also today, with a couple different swarming areas here on the southern end of the San Andreas Fault and also the Brawley seismic zone here. Got a little sequence of events here this morning. A bunch of ones, including a 2-pointer out there. A little bit further up north here, just off the San Andreas Fault. A little separate area of earthquake activity as well. Nothing big happening out here for now across Southern California, but things are starting to show last night in terms of elevated earthquake activity. Here's a look at the 2.5 map and above. One more today, it looks like around mine in Nevada. But yesterday things started happening out here across the southern end of the state, literally within minutes of each other, following earthquake activity up in the Canada area, off the coast of Canada, and also the earthquake activity down here in Puerto Rico, where we got a little swarm going on following a 5.9 earthquake. They bumped that back up to a 5.9. Originally came in as a 5.9, downgraded to 5.4, and then back up to a 5.9. So we'll check out that here in just a minute. But things are still quite active here across California in terms of the multitude of quakes and the broad coverage area of those earthquakes. Just be on guard. The Bay Area, nothing really showing up here. That's from yesterday, a little 1.2. Some movement outside of San Jose as well from yesterday. We'll keep an eye on it. San Francisco Bay region has been quite active as well around the Hayward Fault recently. Clear Lake Volcanic Field as normal. It's always happening out here in terms of earthquake activity. There's a whole bunch of geothermal plants that are utilizing the heated area below to create energy, but also at the same time it causes these little microquakes. Some movement outside of Mount Shasta yesterday. Nothing new to report for that area. Northern California, not showing anything showing up here on the graph. But I haven't really been looking at these seismograph stations yet today, so or just say if they're just not being reported or there's just been pretty quiet out there. There's that one earthquake off the coast here of the Queen Charlotte Sound region. 5.3, just shy of the Cascadia subduction zone. Nothing new to report following that event from yesterday. Alaska area seeing some slight uptick today, it looks like. Some 3s and 4s up there. Pretty good swarm north here of the Alaska range, southwest of Fairbanks. Got 3.6 and some other smaller quakes there in that mix of earthquake activity. Nothing big happening up there for now. Let's go ahead and check out the Puerto Rico area. There's that 5.9 from yesterday right here. Felt fairly broadly across the area. That is directly on the Puerto Rico Trench. Here's the oceanic view, so you can see the crust of the ocean there. Got major Puerto Rico Trench right here. In fact, that's the largest earthquake specifically on this area in quite a while. We've seen some larger movement back over here, but got to remember the Caribbean plate here, where we had that 7.6 a number of weeks back here around the Cayman Islands. Well, that's just a little sign there, I should say, a large sign. The squeezing that's going on out here across the Caribbean plate lately. and starting to show some signs out here of that stress. So keep an eye there on the Puerto Rico Trench. That is capable of producing some larger earthquake activity down here across the Mariotas Trough as well. A number of aftershocks following that 5.9 up in the upper 3 range. Hard to believe that there's nothing in the 2 range or even the 1 range. I'm guessing that the reporting system out here is not picking up or reporting the 2s or 1s that may be taking place in that earthquake sequence there. Excuse me. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Across the world, some earthquake activity outside of the Philippines right now. A little bit further south here. A 5.1 earthquake. And if I recall, that 5.9 from Puerto Rico yesterday is going to be the largest in the last 24 hours. So far after midnight, though, a 5.3 super deep earthquake into the Tonga Trench. Takes the one for the at least the largest event so far after midnight today. That's down there into the subduction zone. Pretty deep earthquake. As far as New Zealand activity, see if we got anything stirring back up down there. Looks like a 3.7 coming in now. Also a 3.9. This area has been pretty crazy with some earthquake activity here recently. A number of 4-pointers out here in the last couple days across South Island. And now 3.7 and a 3.9. Got to keep an eye on that. The Alpine Fault area and many other fault systems out here are looking at some large earthquakes in the future. Just don't know exactly when, but it is starting to show some signs out here of stress, similar to the West Coast there in the States. So keep an eye there on the New Zealand area. 3.7 10 minutes ago. Got another 4.1 22 minutes ago. South Island area, roughly within the same spot of each other. There's yesterday's events a little bit further down along the plate boundary, 4.3 and a 4.1. It looks as though things are working their way northward a little bit. At least that's where the strain is at. So keep an eye on that. Earthquake drums, I'm sure will show some of those 3-pointers that are happening right now down south there across the South Island region. So just be on guard. Let's see here. What else we got across the world? Japan up here. Got a couple earthquakes from yesterday. Some newer activity this morning across the northern Mariana Trench area, 4.2, and some activity off the coast there of Tokyo. Nankai Trough continues to build up pressure. No earthquake activity to report there yet. There's that 5-pointer happening there in the Indonesia Islands area in the cluster zone. Aside from that, let's see what we got for Santorini area. Got some earthquake movement still happening over there. Let's go check out the latest data, which is going to be right here from the Greece area. Numbers starting to go down. Well, they've still been going down over the past few days. Although we've had a number of 4s out here, somewhat increasing compared to the previous couple days. There's just been a little uptick and a little period of quietness. Got 592 events of earthquakes out here in this area in the last week. The latest magnitude appears to be a 1.4. Still getting a broad event out there all across the area. Not confined just to not to just one area, but it's spreading out still in a sequence of events with a little bit of migration here towards the Santorini area. Still got to keep an eye on that. Largest magnitude today looks to be a 4.2, and that's right there in the mix of all those events. I think that's about the only one. Well, is there a 3.7 as well? We'll go check out the recorded data here, see what we have. Wow. They did something to that station, didn't they? Well, that is from September of last year. What is going on here? Well, that's a little switcheroo. You guys see that? Not for sure what's happening there, but they went back and added data on from this September to today's time period. I wonder what's going on with that. Let me see what's up here real quick. Is it going to let us see it? That's just a little weird that those are all offline like that. Well, not offline, but from the from September. Let me go back here. Wasn't expecting that. That's kind of an interesting little event. That's not. Oh yeah, that's weird. September. Let's see. That's from 2019. That's Indonesia. Where's my map layout here? Just a little weird. Yeah, see, that's the one that's just from September. That's of last year. That's just absolutely crazy. I'm just trying to look around, see if there's anything maybe nearby that can show some of the recorded data here. The hand is so big on the screen that I'm having trouble moving over it. This is from September as well, so something's going on. Why they removed the recorded data from the list is anyone's guess there. That's just a little strange. It shows today's date. What if we go back to yesterday here? Nothing, yeah, no files found on that. That's a little weird, folks, so I'll have to look into that and see what's going on. But I find that just odd that they're adding the date of September last year onto their current data. That's not right. So I'll look into that. Let's see where we're at. So we know the Thera one's offline. That's going to be this one right here, but we'll just double check, see if it's like that on this page. Not so much on this one. So that is current 225, and that's around the Santorini area. So that is still showing decent amount of earthquake activity out there. All right, so I have to remember that. Check back on the other one here, find out why it's acting all weird with data from last year. Number of earthquakes still happening out there, obviously, but things mellowing out slightly, but not completely. Still got a number of earthquakes out there in the 3 and 4 range, and I'm sure even smaller ones out there. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. I don't think there's been any updates here on the Volcano website, but we'll just double check here and see what we have. Where am I at? Volcano Discovery is the site I want. There we go. This is put out today. White Island. These other volcanoes that are normally always in the eruption stage. Nothing on the Santorini area of Greece. So still got earthquake activity, but no signs of an eruption yet. May take a little while. May be in the future. May not even happen at all. But it was an unprecedented event out there for a number of earthquakes that are taking place. All right, let's see more activity way up north of Iceland, 4.2, and a couple other smaller quakes. all these events came in last night. A little bit of amplification. Worldwide events, including the 5.2 and the 5.9, came in roughly about the time that a proton event hit the Earth. We got bombarded with protons, and looks like that's still happening there across the polar regions of the sunlit side of the Earth. And those were a result of a massive explosion out there on the western limb, way out there. And man, it produced a huge CME. See if he's got this on here. He's got it here on his webpage. There it is out there on the southwestern limb of the sun. The sun there in the little small circle. Had that been Earth directed, we'd be talking about some decent auroras here in the coming days. But that was directed away from Earth, and we're just feeling the effects of the charged protons slamming into the ionosphere up there. No major roars in the forecast for now. We do still have a decent flare threat out here. 25% chance for X flare, M flare at 65. Let's see what we have here today. Yeah, we got a couple weak sunspot areas out here, but really nothing of any major interest. All the activity and the action is happening out on the far side. Let's see, there was a M3.6 this morning. I believe that's going to be this one from 3998. So that's going to be this area right here. And that's really about the only area of complexity. And that's just about ready to drift off on the western limb as well. Never fails. Get these super active areas growing. They kind of sit facing the Earth side here for a little bit, but not doing a whole lot. As soon as it gets out here on the western limb, they get active. Kind of odd. It's almost like they are being observed. But I don't know. I mean, it's been an interesting solar cycle here for sure. Again, no major roars in the forecast. Still got the proton events. That's probably going to continue here for a number of days. 95% continuation there for some protons. No major severe weather in the forecast that I can see for now. Just some general thunderstorm activity out there across northern plains area. As we put the model here into motion, this is the GFS weather model. Kind of helps forecast what's coming up down the road. It does look like we got some further rain out here as we head into this weekend time period in early March for the West Coast. That is good news. Get some more rain out here. And wow, look at that. That's quite an impressive rainfall accumulation map there. Looks like it's going to stay wet out here for March, and I'm okay with that. I'm not quite ready for the extreme heat that we can get out here. So, man, March looks quite wet. A lot of times we got this saying out here in California and the West Coast. If we don't get a whole lot of rainfall in our normal season, which runs from about November to March or April, that's when we get our wet weather. If we don't get a wet event in December or January or February, we always hope for a March miracle. And that's what they call it out here, March miracle, when we tend to try to catch up in our rain bucket, so to speak, for the lack of precipitation throughout the winter. Because we don't get our rain in the summer and springtime like areas out here in the eastern portion of the country, east of the Rockies do. So spring and summer, 90s and 100s, 100-degree temperatures, 115 easily up here in Northern California in July. But it looks wet, and that's good. The total accumulated precipitation runs here shows a decent amount of moisture there, talking inches of rainfall and snow up in the mountains, I'm sure, as we enter into March. And I'm okay with that. That looks good. Thank you very much. As far as any close approach asteroids go, we'll double check that, see what we got going on. I'd like to check those out just to make sure we don't have anything knocking on our door anytime soon. Pretty safe. They're millions of miles away, 805,000 miles for a 47-foot house-size asteroid there, 2025 DE2, just discovered. So always seen, always discovering new asteroids out here. But the ones that are being monitored look like they're nice and safe from us for now. China Lake, a couple earthquakes showing up there. Yellowstone National Park, there's quite a few spikes there. I know I forgot to check that, so let's go see what's going on here across the area. Got, looks like a little bit of a swarm over here. These are very small localized events. Those are definitely earthquakes happening there across the area. Looks like Maple Creek appears to be the region of interest. Some of those quakes showing up there on Madison River. But even so, these are from yesterday. Look at that time period here. This is UTC time, February 25th, 0700. I think we're past that. Yeah, it's 1905. So this is literally almost 13, 14, quite a few hours here behind. They've been that way for whatever reason. I don't know why, but haven't really had a lot of new activity on here. As far as them updating the maps here, it's a little odd. I don't think it's the fault of isthisthing.org. They just implement these seismograph stations from the original source, which is the University of Utah. And then he puts it out on a cool layout here. I like to use this page a lot because you can see where the swarms are happening around the caldera, Lake Yellowstone there in the blue. But it's behind a number of hours, and it does look like there's a little bit of a spiky earthquake activity continuing around the Madison area, which is over here, northeastern side or northwestern side of Yellowstone National Park. Nothing big, but looks like there's still a number of earthquakes happening out there. In Southern California, I've seen a couple spikes down there. Not showing up here on the map, although we have them. 2 small earthquakes around the China Lake area over here, but we'll just keep an eye here on the West Coast. It's definitely been active out here, folks. Hope everyone has a good day. A little odd quake down here across the Menlo, Georgia area. 2.6. Not too common down there, but it sits within range here of a fault area that's capable of some larger events out there around the Great Smoky Mountains National Park region. That's one area I have not got to visit yet in my life. Definitely am a nature fan, and I love spending time outdoors and in the mountains, and I heard this area is quite beautiful. When I was a kid, I lived up here outside of Columbus, Ohio, but never got a chance to visit the mountain ranges down here, Blue Ridge Mountains, Smoky Mountains. I'm sure it's absolutely stunning. One of these days. All right, have a good day, folks. We'll catch you guys back out here a little bit later on this evening. Keeping an eye on things here. Got quite a bit of work to do here for the school. And we'll catch you guys out here a little bit later on this evening for the Tuesday night update. Have a good one.